Well, I finally got it. The only thing I've done so far is assemble the side rails. They're split in the middle. The door is fairly lightweight. It's plastic and aluminum. And the door locks in place with these little guys, which are operated by this. So if the door is sitting here like that, and you go to lift it up, and then as soon as it sets down, it'll lock automatically. So I like that so far. This guy seems to be pretty well sealed. There's an O-ring or a square cut rubber ring that runs through there. So we're gonna get this thing installed and get it working. One thing that I didn't like, for $170 is I would like it for $170 these were square. It's not that big of a deal because they're plastic and I can anchor one and then square it up and anchor the second one. But, that's the only complaint that I've got so far. We'll see. Let's get it going. Alright, so we've had some work to the coop since the last time I've had a chance to shoot any video. Last night we got a roof covering on it. It's not what was intended, but it's where we ended up. Originally I had planned on doing a metal roof like this and cutting it so that the channels fed downstream, and doing some water collection off the backside right here. But my wife and I had a disagreement, and we compromised, which means that I didn't do what I wanted to do. So this is temporarily permanently temporary. We will end up with some asphalt shingles over the top of this. I did complete the roof lid for the egg box. So I did a frame out of 1x4 and then the same siding that I used everywhere else, with the grain going the right way so that it can drain. And we have enough of an overhang there, and on the edges we don't need to worry about really water getting in. I got the first panel temporarily installed, cut a hole for one fan, and that was as much time as we had yesterday. So now we're out here with the Chickenguard. So the second fan we plan on running over here so that both of these are in one corner. And looking at the assembled Chickenguard doors, I think we'll be okay. We've got enough room here to we'll have plenty of room. All right, pardon the wind. This is Oklahoma, where the wind sweeps down the plains. So I got my homeboy Stanley out here helping me, holding the door up about where I think I want it. And I mounted the drive unit. It is supposed to be mounted off center so that you pretty much have a straight pull down to this. So that's in, and then we can adjust the height of the door by adjusting where we tie the knot, and from there we'll see how we adjust how far it actually opens. Alright, so we're in business. Chickenguard is installed. The ramp got moved from the old coop to the new one. The AC is installed, at least with as much equipment as we have now. We are still planning on getting another solar panel and doubling up the fans. They'll go in the other corner over there. This is set and loaded. So this is probably going to get a tarp over it until I have the money for shingles. But I think we are all set. I know that it hasn't been very long, but this flooring was exposed to the elements. So we're in eastern Oklahoma, and we've had a couple of good rainstorms, and I mean, you can see all of the stuff that got washed in from the trees. We've definitely had standing water in here, and I don't think that this is any worse than it was when I put it together. I mean, there's been standing water right there for sure, but so far it's holding up. It's done much better than I would have expected with all the rain that we got, but we'll see. So at this point, the door is installed on the new coop, and everything is working and whatever. The chickens can go in there, and we're pretty well transferred over to the new coop as far as I would say. So I wanted to go over the Chickenguard a little bit. I guess my impressions of it after having installed one for the first time. I've never used doors on my chicken coops ever. I always just let the chickens decide when they want to come in and out. I've never really had any issues with that. We did have a possum come in once, but he just wanted to take a nap. So look, I went over the instructions again to make sure that I didn't miss something. I mean, it just says put it on there, and then put the door on there, and then put the other runner on there. I really don't know how hard it would have been for somebody to say, hey, they need to be 9 7/8 inches apart. I went through this. This is mostly programming instructions. There's only a couple of pages, 4 pages, 3 pages really, and then some troubleshooting stuff, but there's not really a whole lot to it. It is super simple. I think my main complaint about the whole setup was the rails. I really feel like aluminum rails that were straight would go a long way with that door setup. And I made a really stupid mistake by cutting the height of the door hole without measuring the door itself. I got sidetracked when I was marking the door and doing the calibration on the door, and I didn't realize that I had set the door higher up than it actually goes. Would have been really easy to just drop it all the way down and mark it and then raise it up and cut it on the line. But I didn't do that, and again, there's nothing in here or on the website that actually says what size the door is. That's part of the reason it took me so long to order it, was I was a little bit concerned with how big the door was going to be, because nothing actually has the sizes listed. So the Chickenguard door, the opening that you're going to cut should be no bigger than 9 7/8, or well, probably 9.5 inches by 11.5 inches. I cut mine at 9 7/8 by 12, and there's a nice little gap at the top, but it's about a ½ an inch, and oh well. Outside of that, the unit itself does seem like it's put together pretty well. It seems like it's going to be fairly waterproof. The programming was super simple, so really I think, you know, adding 5 words onto the instruction sheet shouldn't be too hard for them, but it's a good way to go. We'll see what happens.